Good morning, Bear Nation. I'm Bear from the internet. You're probably aware of that because you're probably subscribed. But if you're one of those schlubs that's not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, ring the little bell icon, do all the YouTube shenanigans, okay? Okay, Bear. For everybody else, you know what to do. Share the show with somebody that you love. Thumbs up, comment for the YouTube algorithmic robots. Tracking, Bear. All right, awesome. Also, good morning to everybody who's listening on the podcast platform. We are apparently in the top 1% of podcasts in the world without trying, which is just a testament to how awesome the Bear Nation is. Now, we are going to do the brief today. And when I say we're going to do the brief today, what I mean is I woke up, I laid in bed for a while, I scrolled the socials, and we were going to talk about lightning in Australia and strange weather because that was the written brief that was prepared for this morning. And then, as one would do, I was looking at what's the news of the day. And we have some rather interesting news of the day, which is what we're going to talk about, i.e., Obama's Central Intelligence Agency is actually the one that triggered this whole Russia Trump collusion hoax. Yeah. They didn't investigate it, they triggered it, they started it. Now, some may not care at all. Who cares about Obama? Who cares about Russia? Who cares about the CIA? Who cares about Trump? Maybe you're apolitical. Okay. I don't want to care about this, but I do, because if this reporting, which comes from Matt Taibbi, which still needs to be independently verified, but if this reporting that comes from Matt Taibbi is even remotely accurate, the problem is at least as big as we think it is in Washington, D.C. So, and then if we can work our way through this story on Matt Taibbi and the CIA and Trump, we may get to a couple pieces of national intel that was sent into intel@bearindependent.com. That's the email address. And if you have intel you would like to share for next Friday's brief, and I would like to have it from you, intel@bearindependent.com. Now, reminder, intel is not, Bear, watch this video. Bear, read this article. Bear, here's a copy-pasted news article. No, intel is something that you've seen with your own eyes or heard with your own ears that you think would be useful to your brothers and sisters here in the Bear Nation. Tracking like a tank, Bear. Intel@bearindependent.com. Now, of course, the show is brought to you by three different factors. One, the greatest, is the Lord your God, Yahweh your Elohim. Amazing that we woke up this morning and we have breath in our lungs. Let's not take that for granted. The second is the economic engine of the Bear Nation, the patrons, link in the description. And the third is refugemedical.com, for whom I am the chief shill, because I'm also the founder and CEO of refugemedical.com. Promo code is Bear Nation for free shipping on anything in the store, which closes at sundown today, because 6 days ye shall labor. The seventh is a Sabbath of rest unto Yahweh your Elohim, the Lord your God. So if you're going to get some stuff, I'd do it before the sun goes down, or I'd get it Saturday night after the sun goes down. Cool? Cool, Bear. All right, let's look at this article. This is coming from Fox News, although it has been reprinted everywhere. Fox News was the platform that had the least number of pop-ups, although that number is somewhere around 26. So Fox News coming in with the least number of pop-ups, which is why we are reading from them this morning. There's a lot of fluff in here, so I'm going to try and cut through to the things that matter. Matt Taibbi, a journalist best known for publishing the Twitter files and his work chronicling the Occupy Wall Street protests, claimed in a new Substack report that he was privy to evidence of an Obama-era political espionage campaign not unlike the one its purported target Donald Trump has long suspected. On the Jesse Waters primetime show, host Jesse Waters covered the contents of the report extensively, reporting Obama-era CIA Director John Brennan asked English-speaking U.S. allies to target the Trump campaign in 2016, and that foreign intelligence services were offered a list of 26 Trump figures who could be bumped or encountered by intelligence assets. Bump is an interesting term, by the way. If you ever had somebody who's just come around and they don't have a great reason for coming around, and you're like, why is this guy asking so many questions and trying to insinuate him into my network? You might be being bumped. And in today's day and age, it's challenging because the government, for whatever reason, is very interested in patriot-minded Americans because Christopher Wray of the FBI has defined domestic terrorists as freedom-loving Americans. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. On the other hand, there's a lot of patriots still inside of the federal government and the DOD who are looking for a way out. And so if you feel like you've been bumped, a good question might be not just who bumped me, but why. Why did you bump me? Now, of course, if they're working for the government, they're going to have a great cover story. So trust but verify. And it takes time to build trust. So if something feels weird, it's weird. Let it be weird. Okay? Okay. Now, so already key takeaway here. John Brennan, Obama-era CIA director, asked U.S. allies to target the Trump campaign in 2016. Next, Waters surmised one such individual was George Papadopoulos, a former campaign staffer who later pleaded guilty to lying to federal investigators amid a probe in which he was approached while abroad by operatives who offered dirt on Democratic challenger Hillary Clinton. Quote, foreign spies didn't discover evidence of Trump-Russia collusion and turn it over to the feds. Foreign spies were assigned by Obama's CIA to create a false impression of collusion to trigger an FBI counter-surveillance investigation. Obama's CIA worked with Hillary's foreign agents in London to hatch the hoax, which led to the FBI investigation, the illegal wiretapping, General Mike Flynn's stings, etc. End quote. The report claimed that the U.S. intelligence community asked the Five Eyes Intel Consortium, the Americans, British, Canadians, Australians, and New Zealanders, to, quote, surveil Trump associates and share intelligence they acquired with U.S. agencies, end quote. The information about the alleged cooperation reportedly lies in a 10-inch binder in Langley, Virginia, home to the CIA's headquarters, according to Taibbi, who added that if true, espionage and election-related laws were broken. Now, to the Five Eyes. Technically, it's illegal for the American intelligence community, the IC, to spy on Americans, collect their data, their patterns of behavior, et cetera, without a warrant. And some of those warrants that are actually acquired, most of them are laughable. Some of them, though, are very difficult to get. So the workaround there is and has been for 5 decades or more. Americans don't spy on Americans. The British do. The Americans spy on the British. And then we just pass intel back and forth because the British can't spy on the British and the Americans can't spy on Americans. So we'll have the Brits spy on us and we'll spy on them, and then we'll just pass messages back and forth. And Australia, is also 100% complicit in this. We have huge ears in Australia. A lot of American intelligence is passed through Australia. So that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. What's the need for the Five Eyes? It's less to do about intelligence sharing and more to do with intelligence production. Okay, cool. Good morning, John Parker and everybody else in the chat. Taibbi told Waters that the scope of the former U.S. Attorney for Connecticut, John Durham's special counsel investigation was limited and did not expand in that particular direction. Quote, the information that we have, the investigation that was conducted by the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, what they found was a broad political espionage campaign. Taibbi summarized the findings of his report as twofold. At least 26 Trump-linked individuals were, quote, improperly and without predication placed under surveillance in the election year 2016, end quote. and that intel alleging a Russian interference plot in cahoots with the Trump campaign were unfounded. This goes back to the Steele dossier that Hillary absolutely paid to have produced. By the way, I'm not suicidal. I love my life, and I live close enough to Mena, Arkansas for happy accidents to happen. So, not too close, but close enough. You know, what's a few hours drive, right? So, much like Jeffrey Epstein, I didn't kill myself. Okay? Okay. Hillary produced the Steele dossier as if it was an actual intelligence document. It was not. Taibbi, let's see. However, Taibbi said he would like to confirm additional information on the purported binder residing in Northern Virginia, while reporting there is also a report into the origins of the intel community's assessment that never left the vault in Langley. Quote, there's like a 17 to 20 page report that was confirmed by multiple sources. Apart from that, we were told there are numerous other investigative materials that may or may not be these binders that this story are referring to. This led Waters to conclude the report to be another reason why the Washington bureaucracy fears a second Trump presidency. Quote, because he'll blow the lid off of that, end quote, Jesse Waters quipped. And the dang article goes on and on and on and on and on from there. But if this reporting is found to be accurate, it absolutely confirms what Trump has been talking about for, half a decade or more, 7 years, 8 years, the deep state. Which goes back to, do elections even matter anymore? Maybe, maybe not. We're going to find out. 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. And that goes back to that little quip from Chuck Schumer. Remember that when Trump was first running? Don't mess with the intelligence community. They got a dozen different ways to get you. Paraphrasing. How interesting. How interesting. You're welcome, Brian Burge. This Trucking Life said, plot twist, it's just a distraction. Maybe. Probably is a distraction from something else even more heinous. Comma. Doesn't mean that it's not something we should be paying attention to. At a minimum, it's an indicator of, yet again, how much Rome is burning, to use that phrase. Remember when we used to do We All Gonna Die Wednesdays, and I'd whip out the whiteboard and do the threat matrix? What are our primary threats that we need to be concerned about for the next 7 days? Some of y'all who have been here for a long time remember that. And then COVID-19 hit, and the board was lit up across all factors all the time. And so I stopped doing it because it was everything. It was tyranny. It was disinformation. It was Rome burning. It was supply chain. It was economic. It was civil unrest constantly. Well, this is absolutely a Rome is burning indicator. Could potentially lead to civil unrest. Right? It's definitely tyranny. Whether you like Trump or not, do you think he's getting a fair shake at an election in 2024? Do you think he got a fair shake at an election in 2016? I don't believe the answer to either of those questions is yes. Which comes back around to, we're supposed to have a representative republic, military-industrial complex, right? I was actually talking with my daughter last night about what she's been learning in history class, and they were being instructed on the personage of Lyndon Baines Johnson. And she had all the highlight reel for LBJ. I was like, you know he was a scumbag, right? She's like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, LBJ, scumbag. I said, honey, have you ever looked into the Kennedy assassination? And she knew the wave tops. It's like, I got a book or two for you to read. You might want to read it. Which goes back to military-industrial complex. Who runs the show around here? We all know it's not us. Now, on paper, we're supposed to. But on paper, in actuality, it ain't really working out that way, is it? And so what can we do about this? be prepared to react to whatever the fallout is. As far as actually being able to affect any type of positive change in this situation, minimal is my guess. Stephanie S. despised LBJ. There you go. Trojan Horse coming across the border. You know, Tina, we've only been talking about that for a year or two. Thanks for bringing it up, though. Now, next, bonus intel. Intel at bearindependent.com. Intel at bearindependent.com. What's the email address, Bear? Intel at bearindependent.com. 2 pieces of intel for you this morning. 1, I work at a large tractor manufacturing company. I wonder who that could be. We had a meeting with Ed Honcho where it was revealed that orders are expected to be down 17%. This equates to about 4,000 tractors that cost between $400,000 and $900,000 per unit. 3 line shifts are expected to be eliminated in May. This is just one of our 4 facilities. Our other facilities make the parts that go on the tractors. This will have a significant impact on the local economy. I don't expect this to be the end of it. Get your finances in order and prepare for a lean jobs market. What goes up must come down. And next, and last, you might find this interesting. Today, 13 February 24, date of submission 3 days ago, there was an unscheduled bombardment drill at the U.S. Navy Pine Castle bombing range in the Ocala Forest. Usually, before live ordnance training, they publicize that they are going to do so. This time, no. I did a news search, and the last mention of live fire training was in September. At first, I thought it was thunder, but it was actually live ordnance. It went on for hours, and the bombs that were dropped were far and away the largest I've heard in the 30-plus years that I've been here in Central Florida. One shook the house, the way that it would from the days when the space shuttle would return to the Cape. That's never happened. It must have been a massive bunker-busting bomb. Something is definitely up. And that is your brief for today. If you're one of those people that jumps off when it's time to quickly discuss the value exchange, I bid you adieu. Beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. For everybody else, very quickly, Bear swag, t-shirts, hoodies, coffee cups, stickers, patches, etc. BearIndependent.com. Link is in the description. Thank you very much. When you buy something like that, it helps me build a house for my 8.5-month pregnant wife. And yay, commerce, you get like a cool coffee cup or something. Patreon.com. This morning's video was Stimulus Pause Response, the art of how to not overreact and let your ego get in the way. Also, last night on Patreon was the Pelt Patreon exclusive live stream Thursday, over 2 hours of Q&A. Feel free to check that out. RefugeMedical.com. Bear Facts are back in stock. If you don't have a first aid kit and or you don't know how to use it, you need to go to RefugeMedical.com. Your promo code is BEARNATION, B-E-A-R, Nation, all one word or 2 words. Either way, doesn't matter. That gets you free shipping on everything in the store, which closes at sundown today, Central Time. If you're on, Gretchen Mean Time, it's probably already closed, but it's all right. Sundown Saturday, the store will be open again. Because 6 days ye shall labor, the 7th is a Sabbath of rest unto Yahweh, your Elohim, the Lord your God. Now, we make everything here in the United States of America. We guarantee it forever. And there's 118 lives that have been saved to date with our kits, the most recent of which was a kid that unfortunately had a ninja accident and put a blade through his wrist. And because of a North American Rescue Cat tourniquet, that kid is still alive today. Praise the Most High. And so it's not just I'm going to do tactical cool guy stuff when the balloon goes up and I'm out there LARPing in the woods so that I can go steal Grandpa's moldy graham crackers so that I don't starve to death. It's everyday life. Massive bleeding is the #1 cause of preventable death in the United States of America. And this kit will handle that. This is the Bear Fact. There are many like it. This one is one of mine. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. It possesses everything you need to work the March algorithm, which is massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, and then everything else. This is not your grandma's first aid kit. This is not for Susie fell off of her bike. This is for life-threatening trauma medical injuries. That's what it's for. You need a boo-boo kit? We sell those too. If you want to not die, Bearfac, refugemedical.com. Of course, the Ruckus is coming up, Refuge Ruckus. If you want to throw on a rucksack and march with us to raise funds and awareness to combat pedophiles and restore children, you can find us at refugeruckus.com. 124 people are signed up to date. The dates of that are March 8th through 10th, 2024 in Fort Smith, Arkansas. All the details are at refugeruckus.com. Lastly, but certainly not least, we are building a restoration facility for juvenile human trafficking survivors. We call this place Caleb House with a K, K-A-L-E-B house.org. If you want to get in a fight, you can visit us there, K-A-L-E-B house.org, Caleb House. Lots of people talk about doing this stuff. We actually do it. I have 2 teams in the field, 24/7, 365, getting stuff done. I have a victim services team. I have a construction team. I have all these different people who are pointed in the direction, the vast majority of them volunteers, pointed in the direction of putting these kiddos back together again and making sure that bad stuff happens to bad people. No, they will never make a movie about my life because I won't let them. But if you want to actually affect positive change for children who have been serially raped by pieces of trash, Caleb with a K, K-A-L-E-B house.org. If the spirit convicts you. If it does not, mazel tov. Have a blessed day, bro. Not interested in your money or your time. Tracking. That's the brief for today. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you when I see you. Shalom.